What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Cal bringing you another video. I'm looking today. What's going on, guys? Fifth time recording this video just because, I don't know, it just doesn't feel genuine, it doesn't feel authentic, but you know, fuck it, we're just gonna keep going. So yeah, today we're gonna be talking about consciousness, baby. Kind of how this allows you to attack anything that you're doing with a state of being. And what does that mean, right? So instead of constantly being in the world of doing, having no conscious attention, such as being in the moment rather than focusing on imaginary worlds such as thoughts, you're able to always be conscious when you're doing things such as work, such as school, such as running. And this a lot of times is very interesting because I was watching a Ralph Smart video and it says, it's not about where you are physically, it's about where you are. Think about that for a second. It's kind of really interesting. So my physical body right now is in this building, in my new dorm room, right? But within my mind, I could be somewhere completely different, right? Due to the fact my attention and my awareness is not within this present moment. My attention is somewhere within my mind, right? Such as, you know, the Bahamas, right? I'm on vacation in the Bahamas, it's all imaginary, right? But I can create those hypothetical scenarios within my own mind while I'm here. That is very dangerous due to the fact it can create a lot of suffering. Like I said in the past video, you can exaggerate this present moment that is already complete, that has nothing wrong with it, but through our minds, right, through the situation we are in, we enhance it to create a problem that we perceive it to be. Really interesting because when I started to be aware of consciousness and learned about consciousness, even though it does not require any learning, information, knowledge to connect with, right, due to the fact it is who you are, how can you seek for something that you already are? I started to shift my habits, I started to shift my intellectual habits as well as physical habits, such as going out into nature, and rather than acting on all my impulses, such as getting on my phone, such as, you know, eating to cure boredom, I just let everything be and let everything be around me. And this is great because it does not stress you out, and you literally can take a step back and observe that kind of pull, that negative emotions, right, that we consider negative, but ultimately they're just emotions, and how we decide to act on them is ultimately our decision and choice. And we also have control over placing our attention on those thoughts that create emotions and ultimately exaggerate certain circumstances. You know, I find myself doing this a lot when I'm doing an assignment, right, and the teacher says, okay, you read this page and do this assignment. I'm like, fuck me, man, like I do not want to do that. But through being conscious, right, being aware within the present moment rather than my thoughts, and with this you pay more attention to the present and you realize that nothing within this moment is hurting you. The only thing that is hurting you is your own thoughts. And this is really interesting because once you start to not identify with your thoughts as much, and you stop thinking, and I know that it's very vague to people, and that it's like, what the hell, Cal? You can just stop thinking on command. I can, but I ultimately find myself a lot of times creating an imaginary self-image within my own head, and you know, just creating thoughts about things on autopilot. But when you become more conscious, right, you enter the state of being, the completeness, right? And it requires no thinking, right? That leads to you being more in the moment, right? Because when you're not thinking, when you're not placing attention on the imaginary world, right, about me being the Bahamas, baby, you're more in the real, and you can be a vibrational match, an energetic match to everything around you, such as this, right? I say this all the time, like this syrup bottle could be pissing me the fuck off, right? But that's ultimately emanating from my mind. It has nothing to do with this syrup bottle. It's me. I'm creating all that tension, all that resistance. That's 100% on me. So how do I solve that issue? By connecting with my consciousness and being aware of the present moment. And when you're more aware of the present moment, you can maneuver your way through these scenarios consciously and being aware within that present moment and not enhancing the situation it created. This is a great tool that we all need to be aware of, and we all need to use use on a daily basis and is effortless. And I know what I'm saying may sound complicated. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them down below. I can answer them in a very simple way. But honestly, the most simple way I can put this is just being present while you're doing things. And just keep being, rather than having this non-stop, spontaneous, ever-changing, and you're never giving your mind a break, right? Because when you gotta give your mind a break, you gotta let that little guy in your head, the commentator that commentates over your life, you gotta give him a break, because you're ultimately being prisoner to your mind if you're letting that dude constantly dictate what you do on a daily basis, because that commentator is not you. You are not your thoughts. Once you make that conscious connection, you can realize that you are the being behind those thoughts. You are the observer of these fragments that fly into your attention. And whether you're in an imaginary state or in a real state, ultimately you can be conscious of both. And it's okay to be thinking. It's okay to work hard. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with doing anything. You just have to do it in a conscious way that does not take a toll on breaking that connection between you, your being, and your consciousness, because being aware of your consciousness is essential to developing a peace of mind. It all starts from within, because this, like Aaron Doughty says, is an inner game, baby. What's happening out there is a reflection of what's happening in here. So I love you guys. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them down below. With all that being said, love yourself because I love you, baby. And he's the fuck